Check. There he is and live, Brother Moses. Quick reaction video. Trump absolved on both articles. Trump triggered is a thing. So let's talk about that for a quick second. Salute. I am good. So let's rock with it. Oh my goodness. Stop with the music. So Trump absolved of allegations on the first article of impeachment alleging abuse of power. The Senate needed 67 votes. The chamber voted 52 votes and 48 votes. They needed 67 to impeach, but they voted 52 and 48 shortly thereafter. On the second article of impeachment alleging obstruction of Congress, they voted 53 to 47. So absolved on both allegations, abuse of power and obstruction of Congress. And how do you feel about that, man? So I'm Trump triggered. Definitely Trump triggered. So come on, bro. Let's go to the next one. And because of which, I would love to have the conversation from one of those perspectives that we can all respect, which is Dr. Neely Fuller's. And if I had that interview with Dr. Neely Fuller, I would ask one of these questions like this. I would say, can you talk about a time when you were on your journey? And that's the whole question. Listen. Ask how many miles have you traveled in your journey? Just listen. But if I was to debate the conversation, there's a couple of things that I would focus on, and that is who were the students of Neely Fuller, the talented 10th, those that made it in academia, and then most of the population that is not familiar with his works, hasn't read his books or done the workbook themselves. So I would definitely start there in the debate and see, what is your general knowledge of Dr. Neely Fuller Jr.? Some of the things that he said, his views, how he expressed them and such. I would ask because that book by Neely Fuller Jr., The United Independent Compensatory Code System Concept, compensatory counter-racist code, revised and expanded by himself, Neely Fuller Jr., is a blueprint for how we interact across color lines. So I would want to know because maybe they don't share their same opinions, but they can relate at least gear or guide that conversation towards something that we can actually quantify, like the talented 10, the number to it. Rich, deep conversations, and those who made it in academia. You know, those professors, those Africana studies, African American studies, United States history, African American emphasis, any of those type curriculums. And to be an author or a published mind, even in those spaces, that took work. And that takes respect. So one of the quotes that he has, I got to jump into it, that's relevant to the conversation here because I'm Trump triggered. One of the quotes is, "Justice is better than racism." And so as we look at the events that transpired there at the chamber, those hallowed halls, where 52 people said, when it comes to abuse of power, well, let's look at the facts. And they witnessed or bore testimony on behalf of Donald Trump's character, his business dealings, his deposition, his demeanor, and even was there a violation of the law? From certain perspectives, they talked on and on and on, just diarrhea at the mouth for some sessions, 15, 20. It seems like it was redundant going. I tried to listen to some, but it's not as entertaining as the outcome. So let's just talk the outcome, which I've given you. But because I'm Trump triggered, let's talk about it. Because shortly thereafter, after 52 people got up and they had their opinions heard, there was that other side, that 48, who tended to disagree. That 48 that said, no, I think there was a violation here. I think there is a call for justice here, a claim here on behalf of even those populists that voted against that guy and those who were actually impacted by this allegation in real life. The targeting of that campaign strategy, the slander, the tactic, they tried to bring charges against him and say it was abuse of power. But let me ask, he was a candidate running, but was he already a politician when that said abuse occurred? I think that's one of the facts that they have to look at. I mean, I kind of like rocking with the music and everything like that, but at the same time, I do want to check back in with the chat and see if we have a couple of folks who have joined the discussion, because I am Trump triggered. But I'm also educated because some of the spaces that I move in, we have deep and impactful conversations about leaders and leadership. So when I couple the two, it's not a conflation to say, let's talk about it from the lens of, do you understand the Dr. Neely Fuller, his impact, his students, the legacy that's actually in action right now? Do you understand it enough to have that conversation? Not have you read it, but do you understand it? Because most people don't. They may feel the influence, but they don't know where it came from. If I click on a hyperlink inside of this PowerPoint here, it will bring up that video where I can keep it moving and say you're going to have to do your own homework. So, as his business developed, so did he move on growing sales. All right. And because his sales are international, he has access to some people who are in a position of power, right? Checkbox number 2, we got to lay out the facts. And we've already given the answer. Trump was absolved of the allegations that in the Senate, they said, nah, throw it out, no impeachment. He will not be impeached, can continue to run. He's the incumbent that will be on that ballot. And I know we voted against him as a populist in states like California, but he still won due to that electoral college. And And they said that day, they said it goes back, they kind of expected this resolution. They expected it would be thrown out of the Senate back in January. I say they expected it even before then, because they've been preparing to have this conversation since he took office. They immediately called foul. They immediately said this is a claim for justice on behalf of those who voted against him. That populace, that majority in some states, and you know that's facts. And we're laying out those facts, but we're Trump triggered because it matters. Because let's move it this way. If they do say they do know Dr. Neely Fuller, then they would understand why I would ask our elder, as your business developed, what were some of the things you did to grow sales? That's why I would ask about the journey. I would want to know. He is an author, published works. He got out there, those road trips. Who was on some of his road trips with those stories? See, we can't give roses when they're done. We need to pass those things forward today. Stop right there, because also, according to the compensatory logic, there is reason to believe that what each person does or says, Donald Trump, each and every day has a direct or indirect effect on what happens to all the people in the known universe in what could be called the 9 major areas of people activity. Let's drop them. Number 1, economics. Number 2, education. Number 3, entertainment. Number 4, labor. Number 5, law. Number 6, politics, which is why it's relevant today. Number 7, religion. Number 8, sex. Number 9, war and counter war. 9 light bulbs, 9 ideas, 9 concepts, 9 constructs. Sources Amazon.com, ProduceJustice.com is the place where you should go, because it's relevant today. There was a claim of foul and injustice similar to the major global concepts that I tell you about Africa and its dark stages, where it didn't have electricity flowing and light bulbs. The invention of our Lewis Latimer, the patent, the design, the distribution, the small company that became large, that became GE, that lit up the world. That light bulb, that thing that we looked at as $1, that thing that was $5, that thing that was now electric bill, a staple in our household. That light bulb that has been a global enlightenment. That light bulb, that street light now, that lamp, it affixed to a train, affixed to a stop sign, a turning signal. That light bulb, that patent, that Latimer Lewis, that ideology, that power. Quick recap, and I'm gonna let you get right back. I thank you for joining the live stream. It's been about a 15-minute recap. Trump triggered is the major emotion that I'm feeling, but I did want to express that in an open platform. Respectful platform. Trump absolved of the allegations on the first article of impeachment that alleged abuse of power. They voted against it. 67 votes were needed. 52 said, let's vote against it. 48. Now, on the other one, there was one more person, though. One less person, one fewer person. The second article, which was obstruction of Congress. We know some of the things that happened, some of the firing, some of the, high-level CIA, FBI agency and all of that stuff. And regardless how you feel about it, they brought it to a suit, and they brought it through discussion, and they talked about it, and they got it out there, and they said, nah, man, let that man go. One fewer person. Who was that person? And those 20 others that knew this decision need to be made, those 20 others that could have voted for impeachment, why did they say no? Brother Moses, and I did want to share that 14 minutes and 39 seconds after. Salute those who joined us today, like my big brother who gave us that information about Dr. Neely Fuller. Wanted to share on that as well as share that news. It's breaking news. Brother Moses, breaking news, YouTube channel, YouTube Brother Moses B1 Network, and salute. I'm out.